Hi everybody, welcome back to Unveiling Thoughts with Astrid. Today I'm going to talk about why we don't have to suffer to succeed. Success is something that everybody strives for, and which is why there's also a lot of pressure to it. So there's so much pressure in order to become successful. And when you put pressure onto something, it starts to freak out and does a lot of other things, tries to do a bunch of things in order to become successful. So my mentality, what I have changed, is that you don't always have to struggle and be miserable in order to succeed, especially if your definition of success is different from somebody else's, which it usually is. So for many people, success is materialistic things. For others, it could be something else. It doesn't matter. If you have a clear view of what you want in life and where you see yourself in the upcoming years and how you're going to get there, you don't have to stress. You don't have to struggle. There's honestly almost no reason for you to stress if you just have a clear direction of what it is you want to do and how you're going to get there. So in our society, when you start school, you're all the time stressing about how am I going to get into college? What college am I going to go to? Because that's going to define your life. So then people, when they're in secondary, instead of enjoying their time in their school and doing their grades and doing whatever, they stress about the upcoming years. So they stress, what am I going to do when I go out of high school? So what am I going to do when I go to college? And then they basically feel all the stress from parents, from school, in order what they have to choose. They have to choose something. In order to be successful, you have to choose something. So then they choose a college degree that to them sounds like the most interesting, something that they would like to pursue. And then they go do that college degree, and the whole time they're stressed. Everybody's stressing them that they have to do this in order to be successful. And that's just kind of how life goes. People put so much pressure on having to decide what's going to make you successful and sticking with it. People give very little credit to those who want to take more time to deciding what they want, which is why I have always been supporting gap years and taking time for yourself and figuring things out, as well as homeschooling, just because it gives you so much more freedom to find what it is that you really want to do. And it makes a huge difference when you go from studying every single day at school, and like the only pressure you get is what is you're going to be your college degree choice, and not what do you want to do with your life, where do you see yourself going. Because even though it may sound like this college degree is going to put you there, which sometimes it might, but often these choices are made out of pressure, not out of genuine curiosity and lovingness of what you want to achieve. Of course, this is stemmed now from generations and generations of what success is, how success has come, and that you have to struggle in order to be successful. That is a very big motto, which is why many people often then also don't feel successful when they feel like they've done too little, which is a whole other identity crisis that people deal with when they're older. So they feel like they're not successful because they got their money too easily, or they don't think they deserve it because they didn't put so much effort. That is a wrong mentality. Take advantage of the fact that you have found something that naturally brings you abundance, naturally brings you flow and happiness, that shows that you're on the right path and that you're doing the right thing. You're going to obviously have to face many difficult challenges, just like anyone else. But if you just have a clear path of exactly what you want to do, you will naturally progress to achieving what it is you're meant to do. The reason why we have an economy where there's so many rich people and so many poor people, and the rich are getting richer and the poor people are getting poorer, is because those in between, those middle class, those who are in the middle, they don't strive for actual success. They strive for what is considered to be successful. So getting the degree and doing what it is that you were kind of told to do. Of course, I'm not saying that if you go to law, if you go to medicine, these work fields generally interest you and you need a diploma for this. Of course, I completely understand. This goes for many different subjects, but it has to be something that comes from you. It have to come from your internal self. If you push something too hard, it is just never going to be easy for you. And why would you want to struggle your whole life? Of course, as I said, there's many people who struggle with this fear that if they're not working too hard, that they're not going to get successful. And this comes to me as well often, because I'm looking at other friends and other people I know who are working so hard to achieve what they want to achieve, and then I compare that to myself and I think I'm not working very hard at all. But actually, we're completely in the same pace. We have two different lanes, we have two different paths, and there's no reason to compare even how much somebody's struggling compared to you, because if you look at the result, you can't see it until years ahead, and you're honestly running the same, you're running two different lanes. And of course, this is something very difficult to escape. There's millions of reasons why we have this embedded in our head so much. So our parents and their parents and their parents and their parents, they've always pushed success onto the kids, as well as the media. All over the news, over the social media, it is pushed that you have to struggle in order to be successful. That is what is giving. That is what is that they are pushing forward. But it doesn't have to be like that. That is all I'm trying to say. You have to find what it is that you like to do, because then it won't be a struggle. I'm not saying to not do anything, right? Unless that is what your passion is. But I am saying that when you find something that comes naturally to you and you enjoy doing, it is not a struggle. It doesn't have to be struggling. So if you like to, for example, juggle, just because not many people are professional in juggling doesn't mean you cannot become successful in doing juggling. If that is something that makes you happy and you're going to continue doing it, I cannot see why that wouldn't make you successful in the future. You just have to keep doing it, and that shouldn't be a struggle, right? Because that you like doing this. And that is why you see so many people, when they're successful and older, question, like, am I really happy? Is this what I really want? Because they were honestly chasing the money and not actual happiness. So this is all very interlinked to what defines success and what defines happiness and all things to go. But really, it's all about attracting abundance. And in order to do so, it's more about inner work anyway. I face judgment constantly because I decided to do something completely in my own lane. So of course, many people, they leave college, they leave their degrees, but then they kind of find other jobs to satisfy them or to get the money from. The difference is that I have found something I want to do, and I find things that I like doing, a bunch of things, and in this way I'm working on success in my own way. And I also want to point out that there's nothing wrong with learning new things and educating yourself. I'm definitely going to be taking a lot of courses in different things that interest me to learn more, because there are people out there who know more than you or are professional at something that can teach you. There's nothing wrong with education in itself. The problem is only the pressure that comes from the outside. So the pressure that you have to do something, and when you put that pressure on somebody, they fizzle out and they don't even do the right thing. That is why so many people are stressed and depressed and anxious these days, because years ago, decades ago, centuries ago, we didn't have this pressure from society. We have other problems, of course, but we didn't have this pressure to constantly know our next move, to know what we're gonna do. So that's why we have so many more cases of anxiety and depression these days. Of course, it is also connected to it with a lot of other things, including nutrition and your lifestyle and everything like that. But it really, when it comes down to your career, you have to focus on what makes you happy. See a vision, see what you want to do. Because as soon as you see, oh my God, this is for me, this is what I want to do, you'll naturally want to do that, and you will work hard anyway. But it won't feel like you're working really hard, because it won't be struggling. It'll be something you enjoy. And I think that's a big misconception, because many people think that when I talk about this, they think, oh, you mean just to be lazy and not to do anything. No, it's about finding what it is that you want to do, what is that you want to put a lot of time into. These things come naturally. Even if this comes and goes, this passion. So for example, I like to do many different things. So I'll work on one thing one day, I'll work on another thing that day. You can have many different things that you like to do. But ultimately, it's just about enjoying your time here on Earth and trying to take advantage of that. Success will come, abundance will come. If you want to help this by manifesting, I definitely recommend doing so. I'm a big believer in manifestation. I made 2 videos about manifestation already, so please go check that out as well. It may help you. I personally really advise manifestation because it just brings this natural flow for you. It enhances this belief that everything is going to be fine and what you're doing is in your flow. as well as attracting the right people, the people who are going to support you. The more people you hang around with who think the same way like this, the easier it's going to be. And I say this in, I think, every single video, how important your company is. So that is the video for today. Please remain confident in what it is you want to do. Don't let other people bring you down because they don't see you working, or don't let them bring you down because your life goal or your career, your passion is something out of the ordinary, not something that they're used to. You do not have to study what everybody else studies. If you want to study something that is for you and you want to study, do that. You do not have to feel pressure in order to anything else, because the worst thing is when you put yourself into a career that you genuinely have no interest in and your only motivation is money, because you will suffer and you will realize that the money in the end that you're getting, it won't be enough to buy away all those years you put into putting your time into this. So I'm talking about, for example, things such as art. I think art is beautiful and I would promote people to be creative in art and do art, but it is so looked down upon sometimes because it is something that is deemed as not so serious and won't get you a lot of money in the future. But there's money in everything. There's so much money in art. Everybody wants to buy art. I have art all around our house. We have art all around our apartment. So really just stick to what it is you want to do, whether that is by doing something completely original about it, by going to study this. But as long as you find your inner voice, you do not have to struggle to succeed. Thank you very much for listening. I'll come back with another episode next Sunday.